So admittedly, this project took me quite a bit longer than I originally intended it to. Part of that was because I switched paints and quite honestly made a couple mistakes along the way. But it's done and I'm pretty happy with the results. You'll notice first off that it's a different color than what I started with. I settled on this sort of racing green color. I had originally started with this gray stain, but as I put more coats on, it was a little darker than I wanted. And so I ended up basically using that as a base coat and then using this automotive touch-up paint, which I had pretty good results with, and I would certainly recommend. I also put on this decal on the headstock, which was just a sticker that I had left over. It was for a pickguard actually, but I thought it looked pretty nice on the headstock of this guitar. So I'm starting here with getting the tuners on the neck so I don't have to do too much work once it's on the body. And I'm getting the neck back attached here as well. I like to screw this in by hand just because I don't want to strip the screws out, but you could certainly use a tool to help you out. Then I'm hammering in the ferrules for the bridge pieces. And I'm using all the original hardware that came with this guitar. The tuners felt pretty good, and there's no issues with the bridge or anything that I found. The original pickups I'm putting in as well. Now you'll notice later on I'm not actually soldering these, I'm just taping them together. That is not a particularly good practice, but I'm doing that because I might replace these pickups. I didn't really have too much playtime on them before. It only had one string when I got it, so I'm really just getting these pickups back in so I can play with them and see if I like them. And either swap them out or finish installing them correctly. But all in all, is a pretty easy assembly. The pickups are all back in. I'm getting the jack back attached and all the plates and everything back on the guitar. And finally, I'm stringing it back up. Doing all the usual setup stuff, checking the intonation, adjusting the truss rod, and finally cleaning up. So this was a pretty fun project all in all, and I definitely recommend trying it. It's certainly pretty easy to go acquire a cheap guitar on Facebook Marketplace, which keeps the stakes pretty low if you mess up, and it's a great way to learn about the guitar and how to set it up and potentially fix issues. I certainly have a pretty cool piece that I think I added value to personally, and something that will be a good memory in my collection long term.